Hello and welcome back to Tottenham Logic TV. This is my fourth live now, so getting better and better each time I do it. Um, if you're not seeing this in live and you miss me on the live stream, please please feel free to comment, and I'll answer to all comments after the live stream anyway. So I'll be here waiting for your comments. So today, as you can see by the thumbnail, I want to talk about Kulusevski. And before everyone starts moaning about me overhyping a player and making him out to be better than he is, I'm just celebrating the form he's on now and the way he's transitioned from a right winger into a midfielder, and it's really, really upped his game. So many people last season, they were talking about, and myself, by the way, I'm not discluding myself if discluding is a word. I'm just making up crap now. Last season, well, the beginning of this season in the summer transfer window, there was a lot of talk about should we sell Kulusevski to fund for someone like Eze. You could arguably be saying now that Kulusevski's actually having a better season than Eze so far, especially now that he's been moved into the middle. But a lot of people were saying he's not good enough, but I feel now he is definitely starting to prove people wrong. Some people were saying we could sell him for 50 million, fund the Eze deal. But to be honest, after the season so far, he's definitely worth 80 mil. If you sold him now, he's only 24 years old. He's one of Sweden's top players now. He's probably our best player now, and he's running Premier League games from midfield. So he's definitely probably, worth 80 to 100 mil minimum for me. This guy, and as you can tell by the thumbnail, what I mean is I'm not saying that he's the best midfielder in the world. I'm not saying he's the best midfielder in the Premier League. But what I'm saying is he has all the attributes you can need from a midfielder to be a top quality midfielder. He's starting to show now. What he has got, he's strong, he's skillful. He's got great awareness. He can assist. He can score. He never stops running. He's great in the press. He has a winning mentality, not afraid to put a tackle in. He can even score with his head. So if you remember, he scored that goal against Manchester City in the 3-3 draw with that bullet header that come in off the crossbar. So he's got everything you need as a midfielder. But what more would you say you need? So if he has everything, why isn't he the best midfielder in the league? Why isn't he the best midfielder in the world or best midfielder in Europe? And what I mean by that is his numbers are not reflecting his performances. So against Man United, he created 9 chances against Manchester United at Old Trafford, which was a Premier League record, which is since Premier League records began, I think in 2003, 2004. He created 9 chances against City, and I think there were big chances as well. And he didn't get 1 assist in that game. That is crazy stats for me. Nobody's ever created that many chances at Old Trafford in the Premier League history since stats began for Premier League, and he didn't get 1 assist. That's crazy. I guarantee somebody with created 2 chances got an assist at some point. And the season so far, he's created 23 chances and had 16 shots in 8 matches. And he's only got 2 goals and 1 assist to add to his name from 23 shots, 16 shots and 23 chances created. That is insane. If his numbers start reflecting his performances, his stats could go through the roof. He is playing so well this season. It's unreal. There's so much more to come from this guy. And, he's been playing out on the wing, and now he's been brought back in the middle. People were doubting him. He's too predictable on the wing, but now he's been brought in the middle. He's so unpredictable. His body movement, the way he only has to move his body and he's got past the player without even touching the ball. He's got that ability to deceive, and when you do think you're getting the ball off him, he just pushes you off the ball for such as because of his frame. Wait there, get my Tottenham mug out. Because of his frame, you wouldn't think he was that strong, but he is very, very strong on the ball. Against West Ham, he was playing in the 8 role. And as much as he was playing really well, he was still probably the best player on the pitch. He was much more effective when he was put in that number 10 role. And he was affecting the game a lot more. And West Ham just could not deal with him. He was everywhere. And he seemed to be able to get in space no matter what. Even when they tried to double up on him, he was still in space. Question here. If you was given the choice to pick one number 10, we couldn't play them both, just the one number 10. Out of James Maddison and Kulusevski, at the moment on current form, who would you put in that number 10 role? My answer at the moment would be Kulusevski, just because his work rate is better. He's stronger. He's put his first touch is magnificent. His first touch is brilliant. And by the way, I'm not slagging off Maddison when I say this, because Maddison is performed very, very well this season too. And it's a brilliant headache to have two number 10s on form like they are. Because if you think about it, Maddison in the first half against West Ham, even though he got taken off at half time, he created 5 chances and got an assist and still got sobbed off at half time. That's ruthlessness from the manager, Ange Postecoglou. He knew how well he was playing and still took him off because he knew it would benefit the team. Bing Guy, hello, mate. How you doing, mate? Are you okay? Yeah, thank you for joining again. So, yeah, either way, yeah, it's a good headache to have. In my opinion, if we were to play a low block side, then I think we should play both of them. If we're going to have all of the ball anyway, it's no point having 2 holding midfielders if they've got nothing to hold. If we're majority of the game is going to be in the final third, put 2 attacking midfielders in. And I think Postecoglou learnt that against West Ham. He played the 2 number 10s and realised that West Ham are not that bad a side. We need to shore it up. He made a brilliant decision by bringing Sarr and shored up the midfield. Kulusevski still did the running in the middle, but Sarr did the extra running that Maddison wasn't doing. It opened West Ham up and they couldn't deal with it. It was a very, very good sub. And by the way, Sarr played brilliantly when he came on. So that's another option in midfield we have. So to say our squad depth is not that good, it's getting proven wrong week on week. So let's look at our squad quickly before I go into anything else. So we had Bentancur coming on for Basuma. There's not much of a drop there. Spence, if he wasn't injured, because I think he had a groin strain, he could have came on for Udogie or Porro. There wouldn't have been much of a drop there. Even though Udogie and Porro are probably slightly better, Spence would do a good job if he came in. If a Dragushin came on for Romero, let's say, the drop-off wouldn't be like significant enough for us to panic. Sarr came on for Maddison, as you see, and Sarr put in a brilliant performance, and Maddison put in a good performance in the first half. We can now bring on Richarlison for Solanke to give him a rest as well. There's only 3 major drop-offs, in my opinion. And I'd say if Davis came on for Van der Ven, that's a massive drop-off for me. When Werner came on for Sonny, that was a massive drop-off for me. And if anything happens to Vicario, touch wood it doesn't, then we're going to have a poorer goalkeeper and the drop-off levels would be poor. But because the squad is playing so well with them, and Bing Guy, I hope Maddison will take this as a very positive thing because we need all the help we can get from every player if we really want to escape from media. Spursy mind trap. Yeah. And I agree with you, mate. And I was saying this earlier in the stream that Maddison played very, very well in the first half. And I hope that Postecoglou reminds him of that he wasn't taken off for a bad performance. He was taken off to help the team. And if Maddison has the mentality to say, look, the team comes first, which I think he has, then I don't think he'll take this as a personal insult. I think he'll take this as, I need to do more to stay in the team, because what Kulusevski's done is made himself irreplaceable. You can't take Kulu off in this form. Kulu is now, for me, our best player this season, and he needs to be the first person on the team sheet. And if he is the first person on the team sheet, Maddison's got to prove to Postecoglou that he should be. But at the end of the day, if we are playing low block sides, they can both play and both influence the game, and then we can bring on defensive players later on if we get 2 or 3 goals up. It's good options to have. And as Spurs fans, how many times have we complained that we didn't have enough depth on the bench? Now, we didn't have, I say before Madison came in, we didn't have a number 10 at all. We didn't have anybody. Now we have two. Now that Kulu's been brought in the middle, now we have two players that can play in the number 10 role and do an effective job and a really good job at it as well. So, and not only that, because of the squad rotation that we have at the moment with Sarr and Bentancur and Madison, rotating into the team with Basuma, and it gives people like Bergvall and Gray a lot longer to bed in and to settle into getting used to the Premier League and getting used to playing in European games and cup games and things like this. So we didn't have to rush them into the team. And when a lot of Spurs fans are saying that we should have, we should be playing them, we paid 40 million for them, and all this bullshit. It's brilliant that we can have time to settle them and not rush them into the team and say, you need to perform now, you need to play well because we've paid money for you. It's brilliant that we can slowly bed them into this team. Remember, it's their first season at a new club. For Bergvall, it's his first season in England. It's his first season under Postecoglou. It's his first season with new teammates. There's so much more to it than just you're a footballer and you should be able to play at your top level straight away. So it's brilliant that we can bed these younger players in. And I'm not saying they're not good enough now. They can play now, but there's not as much pressure on them to play well now, which is brilliant in my opinion. We still have Yang coming in January as well. Should call it January when he comes in. And so it's going to be it's interesting to see how we're going to handle that situation. Is Yang going to come straight in and train with the first team, be around Sonny? Sonny helps him settle in, and after the season ends, the next year start integrating him into the first team? Or is he going to come straight in, have a few training sessions, and let Postecoglou decide whether he's ready to play or not? Because if so, then you've got Yang and Sonny on one side and Odegaard Johnson on the other side, Solanke and Richarlison up front. There's a lot of options there now. So it seems to be, more squad depth than we actually think we've got. But going back to Kulusevski, now there's more people on the chat. What do you think of Kulusevski's season so far? Do you think he's the best player we have at the moment in the form-wise? Do you think he should be the first player on the team sheet? Do you think are you relieved now that he's come inside midfield, or did you prefer him out on the wing? I've not heard anybody say that they want him to go back out on the wing, so I'm assuming all Spurs fans are in agreement that Kulusevski is much better playing in the middle. So I'd like to know in the comments what you think of him, and do you think he has any weaknesses? Because as a midfielder goes, like I was saying earlier in the video, he's strong, skillful, great awareness. His scanning of the game, if you noticed him, he scans the game before he even receives the ball. He already knows what he's going to do before he gets it. If you noticed in the first half as well, that little flick he did inside, I think to Madison. Madison put it to Porro, and Porro did that scissor kick. What a brilliant play that was. Most of our really good play comes through Kulusevski, if you noticed. Most of this one touch, 1-2s around the box and skillful play is mainly due to Kulusevski and Madison, to be fair, both of them to creating very good chances and very skillful chances. So it's brilliant to have both of them as an option at number 10. And it's also brilliant that we can have both of them as like on the pitch together when we're playing low block sides. I love Kulusevski's mentality as well. Even when he's getting spoken to after the game, and he's saying that we can do better, but once we click, we can score 4 goals in 4 minutes if we want to. He knows how good we are, but he knows we can get better. And it's a scary thought that Kulusevski's numbers, like I said earlier in the stream, he's created 23 chances and had 16 shots already this season in just 8 games. If his numbers start reflecting his performances and he gets a bit more clinical, his numbers can go through the roof. And that's crazy to think about that. There's so much more to come from this guy. So, and against West Ham, he was dominating the game even when he was in the number 8 role. He was dominating the game even more when he went into the number 10 role. So his flexibility during a game is really impressive as well. Somebody that's only 24 years old, understanding what it takes to play in a number 8 role, understanding what it takes to play in a number 10. He can cover the wing if he needs to as well. He never stops running. His pressing is insane. There's, I just want to know if anybody thinks, has this guy got any weaknesses? Because for me, I say his only weaknesses is actually his numbers. Like his numbers do not reflect his. If you just looked at all the midfielder stats and you'd see with him with 2 goals, 1 assist, you would just say he was an average Premier League player. But if you actually watched him play and realized how much this guy does in a game, and even off the ball, just as much off the ball as he does on the ball, then you'll start realizing that this guy is something special. And this guy is going to take us on to another level if he starts hitting his numbers up as well. Can you imagine that? And it's not only his own numbers, but I think he put 3 1-on-1s on a plate against Man United, 2 for Werner, and I think 1 for Solanke? I can't remember. No, that was Porro. But I swear he set up 3 1-on-1s against Manchester United. So yeah, 1 was for Madison. So he put 3 balls on a plate against Man United, and all 3 missed. So you can imagine his assists would already be up to 4 just from that game. He could have got 3 assists in that game. If those 3 balls were through to Harry Kane, he would have got 3 assists in that game. Miss Old School. Bin Guy says, miss old school footballers, football midfielders, master killer through passes. And do you think, Bin Guy, that Kulusevski is like an old school midfielder? And before everyone jumps down my throat, I'm not comparing him to like Zidane and things like that. But what I'm saying, the way he carries himself, the way his first touch is immaculate, the way he can just move his body and get past someone without touching the ball, the way he holds onto it with his strength, and no one can get him off the ball when he's got it. That I'm giving him comparisons to Zidane, but not saying he's as good as Zidane. Obviously, Zidane was one of my favorite players of all time, so he's not comparing to Zidane. But yeah, and Bingar says you can see Kul is physically strong. Yeah, exactly, and he cannot be bullied off the ball. His touch is immaculate. He can turn like on a sixpence. Do you remember? Does anybody remember Moussa Dembele we had? I'm sure you do. When under the Poch era, when Moussa Dembele, I know he played a little bit deeper than Kulu does, but when Moussa Dembele got the ball and he started running forward with that ball, no one could get it off him. Kulu is giving me signs of Dembele when he used to just get the ball, turn a player, go past another player, like they're not even there. And when they try and shoulder barge him and that, they just can't get him off it. And then he's opened up a massive space in midfield and starts creating it for the forward players. And so he's doing exactly the same as what Dembele used to do. And Dembele is one of the best midfielders we've had in our Premier League history. JTB, morning, mate. How you doing? Musa was a legend in the Rock. Yes. And that's what I'm saying. So Moussa Dembele was as my favorite midfielder of all time. Of all the Premier League era anyway. I can't even remember further back than the Premier League era, to be honest. But Moussa Dembele was a brilliant midfielder. Brilliant. But what I'm saying is Kulu is showing signs of a Moussa Dembele, but a further forward Moussa Dembele, because Moussa Dembele's biggest flaw, and which he didn't have any flaws, but if you could say anything about Moussa Dembele, it would be he didn't score enough. So you've got a Kulusevski now that is strong on the ball like Dembele is, skillful like Dembele was, strong like Dembele was, can run at players like Dembele does, but Kulu can also score goals. Kulu can also assist many goals as well. Like I said, he's assisted many chances. Dr. John, hi mate. Good day. Kulu is strong, uses his body to turn and shield ball very well. Dribbles well too. Yeah, exactly. And what I'm trying to get out of this video is we're not trying to overhype a player. That's not what, every time it seems nowadays that you comment a positive about a player, you're overhyping them, apparently. And for me, when a player plays well and is consistently playing well, they should be praised. Just like when a player is playing poorly, all you other fans that want to like slag them off for playing poorly, you should also be praising the players that are playing well instead of saying overhyped. You can't win either way. Do you know what I mean? JTB, loads of players were asked who the best player was they played against would say him. Well, you're saying Dembele, yeah, definitely. I saw that as well, and nobody wanted to come up against Dembele, and I think now, and the commentator said it as well. He said Kulu's been on fire this season. I agree, and the commentator said it as well that players couldn't handle Kulu against West Ham. Players couldn't handle Kulu against Man United. Players are now starting to fear Kulu. They don't want to play him. You can't tackle him. You can't outmuscle him. You can't stop him when he's on a run. He's clever, very clever on the ball. More clever than people are making him out. I don't know if anybody's seen any of his Swedish games as well. He dominates in international football as well. He's becoming now he's playing week in, week out in midfield. He's becoming now a complete midfielder. And that's what my thumbnail was about. He's slowly coming together. If he can carry on this consistency, yes, he's still going to have some bad games. Yes, there's going to be teams that are going to quieten him up. Even the best midfielders in the world, sometimes have quiet games. It's going to happen, but there's going to be a lot of times where Kulu's going to dominate you. He's going to find space. He's going to outmuscle you. He's going to score goals. He's going to assist. Like I said earlier, he's created 23 chances this season and had 16 shots. 23 chances. And I'm telling you now, these were good chances, a lot of these chances. And if Harry Kane was still in this club at this club, Kulu would be on 7 or 8 assists this season. Guarantee you. Because the amount of balls he's put on a plate for people and they're just not putting them away is unreal. So his numbers are the only thing at the moment is missing from his performances. It's just the numbers. But I really think these numbers will come 100%. Kulusevski is on fire. And I think how far can this team go building around Kulusevski? And the best thing about this as well is when we took Kulu off the wing, we'd think, oh, well, we haven't got nothing on the wing now because Kulu's come inside. Well, that's just made Johnson even better because what's happened is Kulu's come in the middle. He's played a whole season and a half on the wing or 2 seasons on the wing. He knows what it's like to be there. So now he's finding Johnson a lot more because he knows where Johnson will be before he even looks. And the amount of times Johnson was getting chances as well because Kulu was opening up space. And don't get me wrong, Maddison was opening up spaces too. Amount of space Johnson got because they're trying to double up on Kulusevski now. Johnson's free all the time. And I think this is why Johnson's getting more goals. He was unlucky not to score against West Ham as well, Johnson. He almost got 8 and 8. That would have been crazy. So here's a question for you all. Oh, by the way, if you haven't smashed that like button and you're watching, please smash that like button. It really helps this channel grow. Here's a question for you all. Now there's more of you on here. Right. If you had one position available, which was a number 10, you couldn't play them both. Who would you at the moment play in that number 10 role? James Maddison or Kulusevski? Let me know in the comments who you would rather play, Maddison or Kulusevski. Don't get me wrong, and this is not me slagging off Maddison. I think Maddison's had a really, really, really strong season. He's been playing very, very well. JTP says Kulu, and my opinion is Kulu too. So that's 2 for Kulu so far. Because at the moment you can't drop Kulu. Not for anyone. Like not for anybody in that team or anybody in that squad. Kulu is, for me, phenomenal in the last few games. Even at Brentford, Man United, West Ham, he's just been the best player on the pitch. He was quiet. He was brilliant in the first half against Brighton and quiet in the second half. And if you notice, soon as Kulu and Maddison were quiet, the whole team went quiet. So Kulu is so important to this side. It's unreal. So what's everyone's opinions on our squad depth as well? Because now Kulu's been brought in the middle. My opinion is our midfield options are so much stronger now than they were last season. Last season we had Højbjerg and Skip, and I think, yeah, Højbjerg and Skip. Now we've got like Basuma, Bentancur, Sarr, Kulusevski, Madison. It's the options are much better, and Bergvall and Gray. I'd rather have Bergvall come on than a Højbjerg, because Bergvall is, first of all, Bergvall is for me better on the ball than Højbjerg going forward wise. So like Højbjerg would be great at retaining the ball, playing it sideways and backwards, occasional long ball here and there, but Bergvall will get it straight away, look up, play it forward, run, tackle, hit. He's young, he can run for days. Archie Gray, when he came on against West Ham, just looked like he's been playing the whole game. Came on in his own 18-yard box, takes it around the player under pressure, goes past another player, lays it off and starts our attack. I thought, bloody hell. So he looked assured as well when he came on. So what our squad depth is a lot better than we actually it's made out for us to believe by the media. The media have really played on this to say that our squad depth is poor. West Ham won the transfer window apparently, and they've got more ambition than us. They've got better players than us, but we're beating 4-1. What does that tell you? It tells you that the media were wrong again. Dr. John, Ange wants to both improve players and play as a team. He would try to improve anyone, whether it's Mbappe, Eze, or Mo Salah. Yeah, I agree. First of all, with that comment, what he does first is those 11 players are one unit. They're all played together. There's no superstar names, and even if there was, he wouldn't single them out as a superstar. They all play for each other. You can see it massively on the pitch. It makes a massive difference when you're playing a team that's all playing together compared to a West Ham with loads of really good individuals who are playing for themselves. You could see a massive difference in that. And whilst you're playing as a team, you will improve as a player anyway, because you'll learn your position. You'll learn where you need to be, what you need to do to help a teammate. You become a better player when you realize that you are not the only person on the pitch. That's when you become the better player. Look at Ronaldo. I'm not comparing any of our players to Ronaldo, but look at Ronaldo when he first came in to Man United. He was playing for him. He was doing all these step overs and trying to cross the ball to no one and sprinting down, taking on 4 players and then getting tackled by the 5th player. He looked really good individually. He wasn't very good team player. Ferguson soon sorted that out and said, you're not the only one playing. And you see the improvement in the next couple of years to come, where him and Rooney started playing well together because they both realized that it's not about me, it's about the team. And it improves your mindset massively. JTB, agree, midfield options much better, but still think we need a 6. Biss has been much better, but he's an 8. Yeah, so that's always going to be on the Spurs fans' minds at the moment. They're going to say that we need a strong number 6. I agree. I think if we got in a number 6 that actually was always a number 6, played number 6 for his whole career, and that's all he knows, that would definitely help us 100%. But I think for what we've got at the moment, Basuma and Bentancur are very, very good players. And have you noticed as well, they don't go gun-ho into the opposition half anymore. They sit back more and they're affecting the game a lot better in midfield than they were before. And I think both midfielders have improved in the 6 role than they were before. I still think we can upgrade. Like any team still thinks they can upgrade. Like you can pick out like Arsenal, they'd say, we can still upgrade up front. Even though Havertz was firing the goals, they would still say they'd need a number 9. So yes, definitely you can upgrade on the number 6, but Basuma and Bentancur are actually being trained to play in that number 6 now, and even on counter-attacks now you can see them further back. It's not just, have you noticed on counter-attacks now, it's not just Van der Ven and Romero at the back anymore. You've got Porro, Udogie and the number 6 all back in place ready for the counter-attack. So it's pretty decent at the minute. Morning Alex, mate, how you doing? Hope you're all right. JTB, and a bit surprised we haven't seen Gray as 6 as much. Yeah, I'm not. This is the thing, right? A lot of people saying they want to see Gray more, and I do want to see him more. But I think it's brilliant that we don't have to rush him in. I think it's great that we can settle him into the squad, settle him into teams, settle him into the way we play. The system. And we haven't just chucked him in. And I think it's really good that we're doing that. And the fact that he's covering right back, left back, centre back he's learning all positions. And he'll tell you himself, he loves the fact that he can learn in different positions and he doesn't have to be settling for one position, because now we can utilize him in different areas and he will get more game time in the long run because of it. But I would like to see him in the 6 just to see what he does, because last season I watched the game Leeds versus Chelsea, and against Carcedo and that, he was the best midfielder on the pitch. It was crazy. He was really, really good. I even said on that day, I was like, who's this guy? He's really good player. So good on the ball he was. Sports lover, Gray is a pup. Yeah, exactly. He's still very, very young. And I'm really glad that we haven't rushed him in or dropped him in and put all the pressure on him straight away. I know we paid 40 million for him, but we've got lots of seasons to get out of him. We don't have to rush it straight away. And it's good that the other midfield, have you noticed as well, since Gray and Bergville have come in, that I know they're not playing a lot, but it's up to our midfielders. That our midfielders are playing so much more better this season because they have competition now. They know if they start playing poorly, Gray and Bergville will be like itching to get in that side. So JTP says, agree, mate. We definitely need 6 to sit. Yeah, especially if left back and right back are both attacking loads. Yeah, exactly. Both, have you noticed as well? Both left back and right back now are attacking more on the wings than in the middle. So when they were running forward and going in the middle and going out wide and trying to run back, that's a lot of work to do. But now they're just going up and down, up and down. They seem to be getting back quicker, which I think that's a tactical change from Ange. And for all those people that says he doesn't change his tactics, you can see the facts if you want. Go and check all the heat maps of where they're playing now compared to last season. They were inverted in, and they had to run up the wing, invert in, go forward, try to score a goal, then run back and try and cover. Now they're just going up and down like this, which is really helping our defense. Dr. John says things will be able to flow. Kulu been great. Mada's been good too. They would all contribute. Ange wants them to swarm ball and not be relentless on just a 6. His whole thing is about team play. Yeah, and that's what I said earlier, Dr. John. It's 11 cogs in one machine. If 1 or 2 cogs are not doing what they're supposed to do, then the whole machine starts failing. So when he sets out his team and the opposition have the ball, you've all got to press together. I noticed in the second half against Brighton, it was just Solanke and Maddison and Kulu. Everybody stopped pressing from the front to the back. Apart from Solanke, everybody stopped pressing, and that was the biggest problem. It wasn't 11 cogs anymore. It was 2 or 3 cogs working, and the rest wasn't. That's the only analogy I can think of, by the way. But so JTB agree, and versatility helps injuries. Hope so. See him on the 6th on Thursday. The thing is though, because we haven't took Spence to the Europa League, which I'm confused about. I really am. Spence should have gone to that Europa League squad. Because he hasn't gone, there's not really much defensive cover there, especially if you want to give the likes of Udogie, Van der Ven, Romero and Porro a rest. You can't give them all a rest because of it. You've got Dragusin, Ben Davis and Archie Gray, but you haven't got much other cover to go at the back, which is a shame, really. So Gray would unfortunately can't be played in midfield. He'd have to be played at right back or wherever they need him, centre back or left back. He's done all right in all positions. I say where he struggled the most is I think he struggled the most at centre back. He looks very comfortable at right back because he played nearly a whole season of it last year. So he looked quite comfortable at right back. He didn't look as good at left back, but he didn't look too bad. But centre back, he really struggled. But I agree, versatility is very important. And have you noticed that the whole team is versatile? Like you'll see Maddison, he'll drop into the 6 role, get the ball and start spraying it forward. You'll see Kulu playing in the 8, the 10, or on the going out on the wing. Udogie will play on the left, he can cut inside. Porro playing on the right, but he can cut inside. You've got Sonny that plays on the left, but he can play as a number 9. He can play on the right wing. He can play anywhere. He's good. You've got Johnson that could play up front or on the right. You know, he was there for that through ball against, I can't remember what it was. Not Coventry, the other one, Brighton. I think in the first half, he was there as a striker's goal. Basically, the whole team rotates, and it's very, very good to see that. You know, people are not just stuck in certain positions. The only people I think really that don't is like Solanke and probably Werner, because Werner's probably the most versatile player on the pitch because he's rubbish in every position. He can't play left wing, right wing, up front, or defense. So he's the most consistent player in our team. So it's looking good squad depth wise. So bringing in Kulusevski was a clever move. I'm not going to call it a clever move by Postecoglou because I think it was even obvious to us fans that Kulusevski is much better in the middle than he is on the wing. Like, you know, you'd only have, and the fact that he used to say that as well. I'm better in the middle. Why are you playing me on the wing? I think it was to do with squad depth more than anything, and the fact that it was Johnson's first season last season. He didn't put all the pressure on Johnson at 21 years old to say, you're our first choice winger. Sorry. I think he had to, obviously he had to adapt to the Tottenham team and the way of playing. And now that he's comfortable with Johnson playing out on that wing now, and Johnson's proven himself to be a quite a good asset on that wing. Still need more depth up front, but maybe. But yeah, bringing Kulu is a very, very good decision to bring him in the middle. Alex says, we played West Ham, a team with a lot of new players who need time to gel. We beat another bottom half team. Yeah, no, we know that. All of us Spurs fans know that. We know that West Ham are struggling. We know that they're conceding a lot of goals. I said this in my pre-match video as well. We know that they're vulnerable. They've conceded a lot of goals. But it was the fact that a lot of, basically in the summer, they were saying West Ham have signed better players than us. They have more ambition. They've got better players than we've got. And when we played them and beat them, then it was all of a sudden West Ham are shit. So it was a bit of like, well, which one is it? Are they better than us? Are their players better than us? Is their manager better than our manager? Like, which one is it? It's hard. We've lost 3 games already this season, and we're finishing no higher than 6th. But I'm saying 8th. Yeah, Alex, when if we changed it around and because we're coming up against Man City, Villas, and things like that, if we beat, like, let's say Man City, let's just say we lose to Man City, because saying we're going to beat Man City is like it's quite hard. But let's say we beat Villa and we beat Chelsea coming up. We beat the Ipswiches and that. When would it start turning for you to say, look, I think we'll finish higher than 8th? Dr. John, 6th is most crucial position normally, but I'm seeing something different here. I like team swarming, pressing, like total football. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, when we beat a team called like West Ham and that, remember last year at home we lost to them, so it's a massive improvement from last year. And apparently West Ham have got better players this year, so it's a massive improvement from last season, and the way we play is fun to watch. And just when we win 4-1, I just want to enjoy it. I don't want to pick apart like it's only West Ham. I don't want to say like, that we need to beat better teams and all that shit. I just want to enjoy the win and then move on to the next one and see what happens. Alex, West Ham are clearly missing a top striker. Yeah, but Antonio is a good player. It's just, and they bought that full Krug, remember, and he was just injured. So, we were missing a top striker last season, and we got one, in my opinion, now. JTP, come on, Alex, you got love us battering the West Ham D heads. That's what I was just saying. We just enjoy it. Just enjoy. We beat West Ham 4-1. This is their cup final. Imagine going to a cup final losing 4-1. How bad would you feel? If we beat Chelsea, Alex said, if we beat Chelsea, it's a little sign of progress. We already beat Villa once last season. Yeah. And we didn't just beat Villa last season. We battered them 4-0 at their ground, by the way. But also, when we played Villa at home, we were the better team in the first half and we were poor in the second. And that was a lot of the story last season. But I don't know whether you, I don't know how many games you've watched. Maybe you've watched them all. I'm assuming you've watched all of them. But we've been good for two halves other than the Brighton game. Obviously, in the league, I mean, Coventry was poor both halves. But other than the Brighton game in the second half, which I feel was a mentality problem at the time, thinking about the international duty, thinking that the game's already won. Other than that, I think we've been good in both halves for a lot of the games. Against Arsenal, we were strong in both halves. Not very good at creating clear-cut chances, but that's a lot to do with their defence as well and the way they just sat back and defended for the whole game. But the fact that Arsenal were defending for most of the game shows you that, you know, they were worried a little bit. So Chelsea are very good now. They controlled a fair bit of the game against Liverpool yesterday. Yeah, and to be fair, Liverpool or Chelsea, I think that's the first time, other than on the first day of the season when Chelsea played Man City and lost. Other than that, these two are playing a half decent side for the first time this season, I think. I'm not sure on that. I'm not 100% sure. But Liverpool looking very good. Chelsea look much better. But you've got to remember, we're 1 point behind Chelsea. 1 point. So if they're having a good season, you've got to say that we are too. You know, if they are good, we're good. We've scored more goals than them, by the way, and we've got a better goal difference than them as well. So if they're having a good season, are we not having a better season other than 1 point behind? The Brighton game was a manager problem. He clearly had a clue what to put in defensive midfielders on when needed a goal to draw. Who could he put on to get a goal? Because I don't know who we had on the bench, but we didn't have a Charleston, we didn't have Sonny, we had Mikey Moore, who came on later on, but we didn't have any options to change the game up front, to be honest. I really don't think we did. JTB wet spam away at Old Upton Park, and they seriously hate us. Yeah, they do. They hate us. That's what I mean. Like, enjoy it. Enjoy beating them, because they would enjoy beating us, trust me. Spurs been dominating games once things click. The last half was phenomenal. Leave the old form behind if Spurs improve. Very few teams have dominated. Yeah, I agree. And I've watched quite a few games. I haven't just watched loads of Spurs games. I've watched some other games as well. And the fact that, you know, and it's not being biased, I enjoy watching Spurs more than most teams. Like, Arsenal are boring. They're absolutely boring. I watched a couple of their games. They're boring. They really are. Now they haven't got Saka and Odegaard. They haven't got a clue what to do up front either. It showed against Bournemouth. They did not have anything. Honestly, they weren't scary at all. So also Asna and Chafsky, both Aston Villa and Chafsky both lost. So what a weekend. Yeah, Chelsea lost. Arsenal lost. You know, we've gained some ground at the top. We're not going to obviously. I've always said from the beginning, third or fourth, we're going to finish the season, and I'm sticking with that, because even though, like, we're, I think, seventh or something like that now, the points are still not reflecting our performances, because Brighton we deserve to lose because of that second half was horrendous. Arsenal we didn't deserve to lose. I'd say we deserved to draw. I'd say we deserve to beat Newcastle and deserve to beat Leicester, just on performance-wise. Not, I know you can play well and lose. I know all that. I'm just saying that the points haven't reflected performances, and we really could be in the top 4, top 3 at the moment. Alex says we dominated a lot of games last season too, and still ended up losing a lot of them. No, see, I disagree a little bit, Alex, because we dominated for one half in most of those games, and then in the other half, we either dominated in the first half from shit in the second, or dominated the second half from shit in the first. We were never consistently dominating for as much as we are this season. We have a lot of chances all throughout the games now. Like, from minute 1 to minute 90, we're still having chances. Last season, do you remember the Wolves game last year when we were quite decent for one half, and I think it was like we was winning 1-0. And then it felt like the pressing was off, the intensity was off. Wolves were like bombarding our goal, and they deserved the win in the end. And that's not happening this season, where we're under the cosh all the time. And I'm thinking, oh bloody hell, we're going to lose. It's more like if we don't put away all our chances, they're going to get one the other end eventually. So it's more like it's all down to us at the moment. If we finish our chances, I feel like we can beat anyone at the minute. It's crazy. Dr. John, okay, live in past, Alex, and you don't like Ange, cool. No, this ain't about arguments, mate. Dr. John, just, Alex got an opinion, you've got an opinion. If you're Ange in, you're Ange in. If you're Ange out, Alex hasn't actually said Ange out either, by the way. It's good if we think about it this way, it's good to have different opinions so we can debate it and talk to each other about it, and just say like, if you think Alex is wrong, just say why you think he's wrong. If that makes sense. And like me and Alex, like disagree a lot. He says 8th, I say 3rd or 4th, and but I give my reason for that. And by the way, if you think Spurs are not as good as you want them to be, that's because you can probably see potential that they can be better, and there is definitely things we can improve on. Definitely. JTB, 3rd, laughing. Love your optimism. I told you, mate. Please teach me. Or teach you how to be optimistic. That's easy. Just ignore anything negative and just have your own mind. No, but honestly, the reason why I'm sticking to 3rd and 4th is because every year you'll have teams playing well at the beginning, like us, for example. We were brilliant at the beginning and fell off. They're going to be teams that fall off this season. And I don't think we will unless we have a massive amount of injuries again, like last year. If we are lucky with injuries, there's obviously context to finishing 3rd. If we're lucky with injuries, we sign a couple of decent players in January and we push on from where we are now, and the players we already have got improve, our youngsters start bedding into the team and start putting in good performances, then why couldn't we finish 3rd? That's my context for 3rd. If all of the opposite happens in that, no, we're not going to finish 3rd. But I don't see why this team isn't strong enough to finish 3rd or 4th this season. And also, we finished on 66 points last year. And I honestly think we can finish on much more than that. I honestly think we can get into, I said at the beginning, we could get 81 points, but that's when I thought we was going to get like Eze, and I thought we was going to sign like another centre-back to replace Van der Ven. So I was saying 81 points, but obviously we didn't sign those 2 key players, like a 6 as well. And that didn't happen. So 81 might be a stretch now, but there's no reason why we can't hit like 10 more points than last season and get 76 at least, so 76 will get you top 3 or 4, definitely, depending if Liverpool, Arsenal and City drop off a bit, because Man City have done 2 draws already this season, and I think have they lost as well? I don't know if they've lost, but they may have lost. But they've dropped points already. They almost dropped points against Wolves. They scored in the last minute. Liverpool, the only one at the moment that seemed to me the real deal at the moment. Arsenal keep dropping points. Arsenal keep getting players sent off. Arsenal are not so lucky with injuries this season as they were last year. And when I'm talking about lucky with injuries, I'm talking about key players. They weren't missing Saka last season, Odegaard, Saliba, Gabriel, Rice. They were all playing all season. But now they're starting to lose Saka, Odegaard. Saliba's going to be out for a few games now. Let's see how they cope, because they're not going to cope as well as people think. Yeah, I think I was born pessimistic of Spurs have made me that way. Yeah. I remember the Premier League when we were finishing 14th and 15th, and I was still optimistic that we can finish 10th. I used to say things like, why can't we finish 10th? Why we can still finish in the top half? It was a dream for us to get in the top half at that stage. I remember watching, like, as I got a bit older in the Premier League, watching all the teams go out and play in the Champions League. And I used to dream, I wish Spurs could be in the Champions League or even Europe. I was like, that'd be a dream for me. And then, can you imagine how I felt when we got to a Champions League final? I was ecstatic. I seriously was. You should have seen me going crazy for the Lucas Moura winner against Ajax. I was going mental, honestly. Dr. John, okay, literally exfoliating past performances into future form. No man ever steps into the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man. Hercules. I don't know what that says, but so what you're saying basically is, as long as Postecoglou, Postecoglou wasn't here for the last 24 years. These players weren't playing for the last 24 years. He's. I like the thing what he said, what Ange Postecoglou said the other day, as well, when he said about. I wasn't here before. And he said, I knew the problems. I knew that we hadn't won trophies before in the past for a long time, for the last 16 or whatever years. Said, I know we've got this tag on us, this Spursy thing going on, said, which I don't believe. But he said, why would I be here if I didn't think I could change it? And I liked the way he said that. And I believe a person that truly believes in himself, and he really does believe in himself. And he wouldn't be here if he didn't think he could achieve something. He really wouldn't. He's not that kind of person. I think he knows, and he relishes the chance of taking over a team that's, got the potential to be the best, but ain't the best at the moment. And he could take them up to another level. And I think, we finished 8th with a 30-goal Harry Kane when he came in. Without Harry Kane, we probably would have finished 15th again. And to lose Harry Kane and then still finish 5th, regardless of like the shit that came in between, we still finished 5th, which is a brilliant performance. But in my opinion, to get 66 points still, I think we can beat that. Dr. Johnny, that's some deep shit for a Monday morning. Dr. John has been meditating before this live stream today, and I like the way he's thinking. He knows we're going to do something special this season, so we've all got to listen to Dr. John's wiseness, because once he's meditated, he knows the future, and we're going to get a trophy this season. We're going to do it, I swear. What would be a successful season for you guys, though? So what I'm saying is, like, if I give you a couple of scenarios, tell me whether you'd be happy with it. So first scenario I'll give you is we don't win a trophy, but we finish in the top 4. Would that be seen as progression for you? Alex says, people need to relax. Let's see how these players perform in the hard winter months away to Newcastle. We're not playing away to Newcastle again. We've already done that. Villa, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Fulham, Man United, Brentford. We've already played away to Man United as well. Let's see how those teams play against us as well. That's what I want to know, because we're not that easy to play against either. Do you think they want to come to our ground in a winter month and run their fucking asses off for the whole 90 minutes? Because that's what we will be doing. So, it's going to be tough for them. And we've got to start, looking at ourselves a little bit more, how strong we are and how, how we've performed. And when we battered Newcastle at their ground, but ended up coming away with nothing, we came away from the game thinking, bloody hell, we should have won that. Man City go there a couple of weeks later and get a draw, and Newcastle are thinking, bloody hell, we could have won that. You see, do you see what I'm saying? We're not that bad a side. And well, Alex, you sound even more negative than me, mate. JTP and Alex are the pessimistics of the group, but it's nothing. That's nothing. I like these sort of people. I like JTP and Alex because they bring me down to earth a little bit, because I get too overexcited sometimes. I'm trying not to half the time, but I have to. The way I am built, and it's not just in football, but in my life, is I have to see a positive. I have to see, like, I can see what's going wrong, but I can also see what's happening to try and put it right. And I can see that, you know, the players want to be there. I can see they want to play for this manager. I can see that they're putting in 100%. I can see we're playing good football. I can see we're conceding less chances than last year. I can see improvements. So I'm not going to sit there and go, I'm not going to try and get overexcited, but I'm not going to get under deflated if we've just won 4-1. I want to enjoy winning games as well. JTP trophy would take a cup and 17th. So JTP, a successful season for you would be finishing 17th and winning a trophy. You'd be happy with that, and you'd be Anjin after that, yeah? So finish 17th and a trophy. I'd say, like, if we finished in the top 4, top 3, and had good cup runs, and we were playing good football, and we were unlucky. Let's say, I know in the cup we went out to Man City in the League Cup. Touch wood, we don't. And then we went out in the FA Cup to, let's say, Liverpool. It's not a disgrace, is it? But if we finished higher up in the league, would people still give Ange another season after this if he hasn't won a trophy? Because at the end of the day, is it all about a trophy, or is it all about the trajectory about where this club's going? Because if we keep improving our points in the league, so if we get more than 66 points this season, let's say we got 70 plus, surely that's progression, not regression. Alex got said, a successful season for me is if Daniel Levy gets hooked up into the sky by a rather large angry eagle, never to be seen. Okay, that I'll order the eagle now. Wait there. Hello? Yeah. Can you just send me that eagle, please? It's for the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium around 3 p.m. on a game day. Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, Daniel Levy, that's it. That's right. See you in a bit, mate. Right, that's been ordered. So we've ordered the eagle, mate. So you can have a successful season now. So if Levy gets took up in the sky and we finish 15th and don't win a trophy, it's successful. No pressure anymore. JTP, but think we will finish 7th and lose a semi and no cups. If we finish 7th and we don't win a cup, I agree with you. That's a regression. I agree with you. Then I'll be thinking, well, we're not improving. So I'd be the same as you. So don't worry. I'm not going to be that positive. Finishing 7th will be unacceptable for me. So we finished 8th when we were really bad. So, and I'm happy if we keep improving and can see Ange using more than one tactic. Ange does use more than one tactic. That's a myth. Did you not see 2 halves against West Ham just recently? He played one way with two number 10s. Then he changed it in the second half and we won. That was 2 different tactics. I want to see some top games come in January. Top gems come in January. Yeah, so do I. Like, we all do. Like, there's still improvements to be made in the squad. I'm not saying this squad is perfect. I'm just saying I like what I'm seeing with it. But definitely, if we bought, the only problem is, and I don't think many people know this, is we have to sell our first teamers to get any decent players in because we haven't got no room to put them in. Because if you do a Europa League squad, have you seen what we have to put in our Europa League squad? Because we haven't got the depth. We haven't got the homegrown players and all that sort of stuff. So it's very hard to bring someone in. Alex Scott says, we must realise that Romero is off next season and possibly Porro, as that puts us back to square one. Yeah. If that happens, I can't see us losing both. It would be a really poor decision to let both players go. I think we could cope more probably letting Porro go than Romero at the moment, just because Archie Gray and Spence can both play there. But if we let Romero go, there's not much depth in centre-back, just Dragusin. And then obviously Vuskovic is coming in next season, but he's only 17. He'll be 18 when he comes, but you can't put that pressure on him straight away. JTP, Ange has only started changing tactics only recently and hope he continues. Yeah, but that comes with growth as well. You know, what he wanted to do in the first season is embed his philosophy. So there's people getting mistaken from philosophy and tactics. Philosophy and tactics are 2 different things. He won't change his philosophy, but he will change his tactics. And I think people are getting them 2 things mixed up. He will always attack. That's his philosophy. but his tactics will ensure that he doesn't concede goal after goal. You got to remember, we've conceded the same amount of goals as Manchester City, the same, only one more than Arsenal. Arsenal is supposed to be the super defensive side. We've only let them one more goal than them. It's not as bad as people are making out. Remember, Romero acts like that intelligent, technical DM playing out of from the back, but he'd be a huge loss. He'd be a huge loss. Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying positional wise. So like, we couldn't cover Romero if he went. Like Dragusin would be in. We've got no one back up for Dragusin. So if we sold Romero, we'd have to bring in a very good centre back to replace him. It would just make more sense to keep him. But obviously Real Madrid knock on the door. It's near enough impossible. If Real Madrid offered 120 million next season, I think Daniel Levy would sell him, and that's a shame. Romero, like you said, Alex, is very true. Is on half with the ball, and when we're attacking, Romero opens up that midfield in attack and starts attacks one after the other. When he's playing, we're more fluent in attack, just because when he gets it, he's always looking up, looking for the through ball, and he splits the midfield all the time. He's very, very good at it. The philosophy is the candy floss, and the tactics is the stick. I suppose somebody else has been meditating today. Philosophy is the candy floss, and the tactics of the stick. Okay. Philosophy's good though. I like it. Look, how many years was we moaning that we weren't playing attacking football? And now we're two attacking, apparently. We're two attacking. Dragusin for me doesn't look like a technical defender. He's just a big, solid shithouse that would be solid for set pieces. Yeah, he would. He looked good for Romania. I think he's the sort of player that needs to be playing week in, week out as well. I think him coming off the bench every so often or playing Europa League, I think if he's playing Europa League every week, you'll see him improving. But you got to remember, when he plays in Europa League, he's not playing with the first team. So it doesn't make him look as good. He definitely needs to play week in, week out, but it's just impossible with Romero and Van der Ven. It's just impossible at the moment. Yeah, I said JTB. I did say about Vuskovic. In the Belgian league, he scored 4 goals already this season in 10 games. And he's 6'6". So he's only 17. He's fucking massive. Yeah, he looks very, very good. He's getting rave reviews in Belgium at the moment. People can't believe he's 17. They're like, he looks like a 25-year-old because he's so big. He's a beast. He's going to be 18 when he comes to us. I'm not sure on his pace. I haven't seen how fast he is, but he'll be brilliant in both boxes for us. Like, he'll be defending corners and scoring corners for fun. DP, what the fuck does that mean? Now I want to eat some candy floss. All right, wait there. Oh God. Hello, can you order some candy floss for JTP as well, please? Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Alex Scott, we could have looked at Wissa or Buemo, the 2 wingers for Brentford, Eze, Gyökeres, and Ederson, the DM for Atalanta. Yeah, I agree with all of that. And there's no reason at the moment why we couldn't get an Eze. But if you think about it, who do you think's having the better season at the moment, Kulusevski or Eze? Because Eze would have been playing in a Kulu position, in my opinion. And I think, unless he plays out on the wing, which would be fantastic, but who's having a better season? Because in my opinion, Kulu's playing better than Eze at the moment. Vuskovic is 6'6" now. Yeah, he is 6'6". And by the way, he's 17. He could still grow yet. He could be like 6'8" by the time he comes to us. He'd have to duck when he comes out the tunnel as well. So who's playing better, Kulusevski or Eze? And that's the thing. Maybe all along, Postecoglou knew Kulu's going to be playing in the middle. Why did we need to sign an Eze? We already had Maddison as well. So maybe he was thinking, I've already got 2 number 10s for this season. Let's see how Maddison and Kulu get on. Maybe he might sell Maddison next season. I can't see it, but what if he sold Maddison and then bring in Eze? Kulu and Eze and number 10s. Bloody hell. That'd be crazy. If you're watching this, please smash that like. It gets this stream shown to lots more people so they can all join the chat and we all can have a laugh. Elise is a huge loss for Palace. Elise, I tell you what, even if we went for him, he would have gone Bayern. Like, I'm telling you now. Like, Elise is a brilliant. You've seen what he's doing for Bayern Munich as well. Him and Kane are smashing it up in Germany. I'm telling you. Them two together. Imagine if we kept Kane and then signed Elise. We would have been top of the league by now. Optimism. JTB, he's brilliant in both boxes. The Essex girls will love him. No. No. Okay. I know what you're saying. I'm not even going to comment on that, mate. Alex says Maddison created 5 chances in the first half yesterday and got 1 assist, 2 goals and 3 assists in 8 games. What? 5 chances? Yeah, no, yeah. I said that earlier in the stream, and got 1 assist, 2 goals and 3 assists in 8 games. So, yeah, he's having a good season. Like, I'm not. That's what I mean. I wasn't slagging Maddison off. He's having a good season. And what I'm saying, it's a brilliant thing to have 2 number 10s playing very, very well. Believe it or not, Munich fans are turning on Kane. They're turning on Kane. Alex, you said he's turning on Kane. He just scored a hat-trick, like literally at the weekend. He just scored a hat-trick. He keeps coming up on my YouTube because, like, obviously I'm a Spurs creator and they always keep showing me what Kane's doing. He just scored a hat-trick. Why are they turning on him? What, does he not score enough goals? He scored like 197 goals last season for Bayern Munich, didn't he? God knows. Maybe he's not fast enough for them. Their standards are a lot higher than ours, to be fair. We love him, and let's hope they turn on him when he comes back. Why not? Notice Maddison is playing much deeper with Kulu playing higher, yeah, and it doesn't work. Not against like better sides. Like Maddison and Kulu together against better sides that attack us more, I don't think gives us that strength in midfield, which I think Postecoglou noticed as well, and Postecoglou switched it, which worked in the end of the day. But against low block sides, definitely. Bayern's standard is through the roof. Yeah, but the thing is though, their standard should be through the roof because they, multiple league title wins, and the only time they didn't win the leagues when Harry Kane joined them. Is that a curse? Much must be a curse. Bayern's standard is through the roof. Yeah. So, what would any of you take Harry Kane back next season? It'll be like 32, 33 next year. Kane should have had 6 goals yesterday. All right, because he missed 3, they hate him now. Scoring 3 is not enough. Not for Bayern. You have to score 5 goals every week, otherwise you're crap. What's his name? What's his name? Lewandowski, that's it. He scored 5 goals in like 9 minutes. That's the standard. Where did you read that in the Sunday Sports, says JTB? Kane will be scoring 20 a season when he's going to bingo. They love Kane. All right, I'm getting 2 people saying 2 different things now. But I would say, why would they hate him? Because he scores every week. And every time I seem to see him, he seems to have scored a hat-trick. My question is, though, would you take Harry Kane back? Let's say Bayern Munich kicked him out. They didn't like him. Say the fans turned on him. Would you bring him back? He's 32, 33 years old. Would you bring him back for a season-long loan or just for a season? Would any of you bring Kane back by any chance? Do you still love Kane? Do you still think he'll bang in the goals in the Premier League? Do you still think he could beat Alan Shearer's record? They're not happy with company and they keep calling him Turnip Head. Why didn't we call him Turnip Head when he was when he was managing Burnley? Love Kane, but he can't press anymore, and we need a team that can press. That's very true. Like I said earlier in the stream about the cogs, all 11 cogs have to be going the same way, otherwise it ain't going to work. Dr. John says Spurs scored 3 goals in 7 minutes last game. That's very true. So we've got the Bayern Munich standards now. Get in. And still, I think some fans are not happy with Spurs. Alex, Kane would have got 30 goals under Ange last season, at least. All the chances missed. I was saying this about Kulu, because obviously this video was about Kulu. And I was saying if Kane was playing this season, and Kulu's created 23 chances, by the way, in 8 games so far, how many assists would Kulu have if Kane was playing? Kulu would be like on 15 assists this season at least. But yes, I would still take it back. Oh, you're still taking it back. Okay. So JTP will take it back. Alex said he would score 30 goals under Ange. I think Harry Kane, because obviously we all love him, there wouldn't be no pressure on him. And we all know pressure doesn't mean nothing to Harry Kane. He would come and score anyway. How many chances Maddison created this season? I don't know, but I reckon his will be pretty high as well. Let me get my phone out again. Let's see how many chances Maddison's created. I think he would have created quite just as many, to be honest. He's been playing very, very well. Let me see. I've got my stat. I use FOTMob. I don't know whether that's any decent to you guys, but I seem to use that quite a lot, and it seems to be quite accurate. So if I type in Maddison, James Maddison, if I put in his stats for the season, let's have a look. Chances created. He's created 18. So Kulu's created, but in his defense, he gets subbed off every game. Like, I don't think he's finished a 90-minute game. So he's created 18 and Kulu's created 23. So technically, if he wasn't subbed off every game, maybe he'd have the same numbers as Kulu. So he's having a very good season as well. He's got better numbers than Kulu regarding like goals and assists, because he's got 2 goals and 3 assists. Kulu's got 2 goals and 1 assist. But Kulu seems to be... How many shots has Maddison had as well? Because if we're looking at that, because Kulu's had 16 shots and Maddison's had 15. Technically, Maddison's having just as good season as Kulu numbers-wise, and statistic-wise, he's having better numbers because he's got more goals and more assists. But for some reason, Postecoglou likes Kulu more. Yeah, Maddison gets subbed far too much. Maybe he's carrying a slight injury. He might be carrying a slight injury, or it might be the fact that he's a fragile player. And what I mean by that is, have you seen the amount of times when he gets tackled, he goes down holding his ankle like it's been broken every time? I think he's being careful with his minutes, so we don't lose him for 3 months like we did last season. And Kulu's a lot stronger and a lot more. He's got a lot more battle to him, and he, he won't be pushed off the ball, and he won't be going down hold his ankle. How many times do you see Kulu rolling around the floor? Not many, but you'll see Maddison every 5 minutes on the floor. It might be the fact that Maddison's a bit more skillful, but Kulu is very skillful as well. But maybe it's just managing his minutes better, because Maddison has the potential to be injured for months, and it's so imperative that we have them both. Having them both fit all season would really, push us on this season, I reckon. All players do that now. When they get hit, they go down like a Freddie Mercury on his pit. Yes, that is true. And Harry Kane was singing "I Want to Break Free" last season as well. Ange likes Kulu because of his hunger to track back when we lose the ball. Yeah, that's true as well. Kulu is everywhere. Did you see his heat map for West Ham? He was everywhere, absolutely everywhere. He'd do anything to win that ball back, and he'll do anything to set up a chance and score. Alex says, I guarantee you that the kids in here don't even know who Freddie Mercury is. Oh, I don't think there'd be many kids in here. I checked my YouTube stats, and most of my subscribers are from the age of 40 onwards. So that's okay. It's not too bad. I like it. It's more mature conversations. Well, I thought it was until today. I guarantee you that I feel old now. You feel old now? How old are you, Alex? If you don't mind me asking. Do you know what? By the way, I'll tell you a little story. The other day, I thought I was 41. And then my wife reminded me yesterday I was 42. So I've just lost a fucking year. I'm gutted. I'm absolutely gutted. I'm a year older than I thought I was. I'm absolutely gutted. Not worried about Manners. He will contribute heaps and needs to reinforce to all. If they don't get a rest, they will play 50 games and be begging for rest. No, that's true. And we do need to rest players all the time. And don't you think that the fact that we keep resting players, and even important players, shows that our squad is stronger than we think it is? Well, at least I can relax and take out my false teeth when I type in here with you lot. Long as you put them into a clean glass, mate, it's no problem. Let's say I'm over the half century. You're over half a century. Have you seen Tottenham win the league then? I'm joking. Let's say I'm over half a century. Yeah. I.e., I'm in Korea. Kulu must do this against top teams in the league. See, I'm going to get you on that one. Kulusevski doesn't do it against top teams. He has 5 goals and assists against Manchester City in his last 5 games. Just be aware of that. Kulu has scored and assisted against Man City nearly every time he plays them. So last season in 3-3 draw, who scored the equaliser? Kulu. Yeah, and I think he got an assist in that game as well. Kulu's first game against Manchester City, he scored against them. Please don't say he doesn't do a score against top teams, because he does. He was pivotal against the 4-0 win against Aston Villa as well, by the way. 46, you're still young, mate. JTB, you're still young. 46. Life begins at 40, so technically you're only 6. Dr. John, the same. See about my optimism and positive nature. You're only 6 years old. Same, but not a Queen fan. You're not a Queen fan. The only time Alex says, the only time I've seen Tottenham win the league is in my son's PlayStation. That's all right. It still counts. Just create a trophy. Buy a trophy from the shop and put it in your bedroom and just say they won the league. JTB is still in diapers. Freddie Mercury on his period. Soz just catching up. Come on, JTB, where you been for the last 10 minutes? We said all this before. Talking about. So, yeah. So, all in all, I think I'm happy with the way things are going this season. I would be, wouldn't I? Because I'm always happy about Tottenham at the moment. I can see massive improvements. I can see that with if just put it this way, how many times did we have all this? Well, let's see what you guys talk about first. You look 106 this morning. You definitely need to break free. Oh dear, that image is branded into my brain now about Freddie having his time with them. Oh. Yeah, so I'm happy. I'm trying to talk about Tottenham. You're talking about Freddie Mercury's period. What's going on? I'm getting a bad back sitting there for too long. You know what I mean? I must be getting old as well. That's bad. Just go and hide yourself in the cupboard. Don't look in any mirrors. Keep that man away from mirrors. So I'm happy with the way things are going. Even though Alex and JTP still think we're going to finish 8th, what do you think that your mind could be changed? Do you think I could change your mind? Too many broken mirrors. So I thought she would have a little moan about everything. That's the way he said it. This is the way I imagine JTP said this. Soz, my missus thought she would have a little moan about everything. I think I said anywhere from 6th to 8th. Okay. So if we finished above 6th, so we finished 5th again, for example, would you be happy with Ange? Would you be Ange in? Or does it have to have a context to that? If we just got 5th because everyone else was crap as well, then yeah, it needs to be a bit of context to it. But at the end of the day, finish 5th again. As long as we win a trophy, I don't care about anything. Because all we have to do is win a trophy, and then the mentality goes through the roof then all the players believe that they can win things. That makes a massive difference. There's a massive shift in your mentality once you win something. Do you think Porro and Romero would want to leave if we won something? Like, let's say, for example, we won the Europa League. Do you think they'd want to leave, or they need to leave? Because they've got trophy. They've got a big trophy as well. In my opinion, Europa League is a big trophy. So JTV says, I felt like 106, not look like I'm 106. I'm fucking gorgeous. I'm going to take your word for that, mate. And no, mate, we're miles off City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. I don't think we're miles off Arsenal this season. I really don't. They are boring. Go and watch an Arsenal game. Have you seen an Arsenal game this season? I've seen a few, and they are not that good. They are not that good. I'm telling you now. At the moment, I mean, like obviously their consistency is probably going to end up better than ours throughout the season, but they're not that good. I'm telling you now. It's not just because I hate them. Just go and watch them. Seriously, watch them against Bournemouth. Even with 11 men, they were crap. Levy will have the urge of wanting to make big profits. Why not? We always been a selling club. Not really. Not really. With in recent times we sold Kane, but we got what we could out of Kane. If we won trophies, he would have stayed. Guarantee it. Kyle Walker was with us for years before he left. We don't just get a player and then sell them straight away. We keep them for quite a long period of time. If Romero wants to go, yes, we'll sell him because Postecoglou don't want anybody here that don't want to be here anyway. Bingo. Levy will have the urge of wanting to. Yeah, it's Arsenal are solid. They will allow teams like Liverpool and City to have more of the ball. Yeah, but if City were a bit more clinical, they would have beat them. I can't believe they sat in their own 18-yard box for the whole 60 minutes or however long it was. Arsenal one of the best teams in Europe right now. But they couldn't beat Bournemouth. They had 11 men before. They had 11 men and couldn't get a shot. I think they had one shot off target in half an hour against Bournemouth. Arsenal manager, he looks so tired today. He's probably got the same mirrors as us, mate. That's why. Fatigue. Romero and Paolo will both go to Real today if they could. Don't underestimate Real, Paul. See for South American Spanish players. Yeah, no. I'm just trying to be positive, mate. Yeah, who wouldn't want to play for Real Madrid? You don't just win the league most seasons, you win the Champions League most seasons, like the biggest trophy you can get. And they win it nearly every year. I can't believe how many they've won. I think they've won 15 or 16 Champions Leagues. They've won more Champions League than Arsenal have won league titles. That's crazy. Arsenal entitled to have one bad game. They'll finish in the top 3, mate. No, of course they will. No, like I'm not saying like listen, at the moment, they don't look that good. If you saw them, I watched the Leicester game. They were 2-0 up and Leicester came back and Leicester could have won that, by the way. If Vardy didn't miss that third chance, they could have beat Arsenal. And all that laughter about us drawing with Leicester, Arsenal nearly did the same. It took them the last minute to beat Leicester. When they were playing against Brighton, yes, they went down to 10 men, but Brighton were a better side as well in that game. Arsenal, what I'm doing is, though, I'm comparing Arsenal this year to last. Arsenal were better last season than they are this season. I'm telling you now, I watched Arsenal last season. I watched them this season. They're better last season than they are this season so far. I'm not saying they can't get back to what they were last season. If they do, yes, they'll fly up the league. But at the moment, they're not as good. Arsenal don't dominate matches, haven't dominated a single game this season. Spurs have dominated games and lucky results now clicking. Exactly. We have looked better than them this season. We have. We'll see it more when we play City. And I don't mean City in a cup, because if City don't put out the best team, we're not going to see really the real Spurs until we play the first team of Man City in the league a couple of weeks later. Then we might see what happens there. Remember, we drew City last season, 3-3. We had Ben Davies and Emerson Royale in centre-backs, Højbjerg in the middle, and Gill playing left up front. I think he came off the bench, but he was playing left up front. Just think about that. And that was at the Etihad. Just think about that for a minute. Biggest club in the world. Yeah, that's Real Madrid. Seem to win the Champions League every season now, for fuck's sake. Yeah, so, if put it this way, Modric has won 6 Champions Leagues. Just Modric alone has won 6 Champions Leagues. And I think Bale's won 5. That is crazy insane. That's insane. And they both came from Spurs, didn't they? So people like Romero and Poro will see that and think that could be me. Do you know what I mean? But again, though, do you think Real Madrid would sign Romero or Saliba? Because they're looking at both. and both would go if they both got asked to go Real Madrid, both would leave. Yeah, JTB says I agree Arsenal were better last season. I do. I think that they seem so vulnerable this season. It's unreal. They're letting in goals left, right, and center. They're letting in just as many goals as we are. If you're saying that our defense is really poor, it needs to improve, you may be right. But then why is that no one's saying that about Arsenal? They're letting in just as many goals as we are. I watched one Arsenal game. They couldn't string more than 4 passes together. There's something wrong there. Do you remember at the time? Do you remember at the end of the Poch era when everyone just stopped playing the Poch way? And Arteta is now into that realm because obviously he's had a couple of title chases. So did Poch. Arteta hasn't got to a Champions League final. Poch did. You know, I know we're all going to say that Arteta won the FA Cup in his first half season, but he hasn't won anything since. So does that mean he's regressed? Because 2 8th finishes in a row, a 5th place finish, and then the last 2 seasons they've been good. They've been very, very good actually. They've been incredible the last 2 seasons. But this season, it just seems like they've just gone off the boil a little bit. They really don't seem like they're their old selves. You ask Arsenal fans, ask them if they're better this season than last season. They'll tell you they're not. Even watch that. I watch AFTV sometimes because I like to see rival channels, see what they're saying, and they're saying the same. They're not as good. They're probably better, let's say, defensively solid, but they're still letting in goals. So it's hard. It's a hard one to figure out what they're actually trying to do. Arsenal have had injuries to key players this season as well. Let's not forget about that. But when I mentioned this on other channels and said we had key injuries last season, that's why we fell off. Oh, everyone has injuries. But now Arsenal's having key injuries. Now it's an excuse. So they're allowed to have key injuries, and that's an excuse. But we weren't allowed to use that as an excuse last season. That's what's frustrating with me. Big guy, Arsenal are finally tired. That's good. Fine for us. Yeah. Interesting fact: Arsenal have the thinnest squad in the league this season with only 22 players. But why? How can you spend 600 to 800 million and have only 22 players? Is that because of injuries? Maybe. No, it can't be because of injuries. You've got 22 players in the squad and you spent 800 million. That's a bit strange to me. We had to get rid of 16. Also have a huge complacency streak. Didn't get a striker. They think they just need to tweak a bit and get there without factoring others getting better. And that's the thing. Others are getting better. I'm going to have to go in a minute because we're expecting people over my house, and I don't want to be rude and be talking all day long on here. So I'm going to read a few of your comments out, and then we'll close it up. But I just want to finally talk that Kulusevski is becoming a very, very good midfielder, and hopefully he can continue that form. So Alex says Arsenal have conceded 8 goals already this season, so you're right. Yeah, I know. I looked at the table before I came on live. I like to sometimes look about what's going on before I start spouting facts, because if I'm wrong, I look like an idiot. Arsenal fans will turn on Lego Head. I love that phrase, Lego Head. If he doesn't win a trophy this season, then he'll want him out. And they had 0 injuries last season. They had injuries, but they had injuries to not key players, in my opinion. They had Rice, they had I keep calling him Odegaard. They had Saka, they had Saliba, Gabriel, Raya. They had all their best players playing all season, and none of them were injured. They played every game. So yeah, but when we had that, we couldn't use that as an excuse. Arsenal chairman wants to get the squad wage bill down to try and make some money back. Probably. Everyone smash the like button, please. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to say that. Can everyone just smash the like button before we go? And I will try and do a live again the same time tomorrow, 10 a.m. UK time, so I can get you all on again and we can talk about. I'll think of another subject. This video goes out after the live, by the way. So if any of you think of a subject I can talk about tomorrow, then I'll look at all the comments and I'll reply to you, and then I'll use one of them comments and I'll use it as a subject to talk about tomorrow. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate you always hitting that like button, and JTB and all the rest of you. You've always been there from the beginning. Always say that and always appreciate you. We don't always agree in our opinions sometimes, but it's good to have a little chat. And sometimes there's somebody have an opinion, but the other person doesn't understand the context of their opinion. So sometimes if you have an opinion, ask what their context is, and then sometimes you both agree and you don't even realize. Sometimes it is like that. Dr. John, thank you for coming on again, mate. Appreciate that. Enjoyed you being on here and having your say. Even the priest gets bored of hymns. He's still meditating, Dr. John is. We don't always agree, mate, but when we finish our chat, we realize I was right. Okay, then I'll let you think that for now. We're all right at the end of the day because we all want Spurs to win. And if Spurs win, we'll all celebrate together. And that's the main thing. And we all will. We'll all be there when Spurs finally lift up that trophy. JTB, you can do tomorrow. Why is Levy such a coconut? I know you said something else, but I've changed it to coconut. I could do that, but people get so angry about Levy. I don't like talking about him. I really don't. I really think he's irrelevant. But I've got to go. People are knocking on my door. Thank you for joining in, and please like, comment, subscribe. Got to do that thing. And take care, everybody. Nice to chat to you again, and I'll see you on the next one. You take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.